The morning sun filtered through the stained glass windows of Blackwood Manor, casting eerie shadows across the grand foyer as Sara descended the sweeping staircase. Ambrose Blackwood, the enigmatic master of the estate, awaited her at the bottom, his dark eyes gleaming with a hint of intrigue. "Good morning, Sara," he greeted her with a polite nod, gesturing towards the dining room. "I hope you slept well. Breakfast is served." Sara followed him into the opulent dining room, where a sumptuous spread awaited them. The table was adorned with fine china and silverware, but despite the lavish surroundings, a sense of unease gnawed at Sara's gut. As they sat down to eat, Sara couldn't resist the urge to voice her burning question. "Ambrose, why did you bring me here?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. Ambrose paused, his expression unreadable as he considered her question. "You will find out soon enough," he replied cryptically, his tone devoid of mirth. Determined to uncover the truth, Sara pushed her doubts aside and focused on her meal. But even as she ate, the sense of foreboding lingered, casting a pall over the breakfast table. After breakfast, Sara ventured deeper into the labyrinthine corridors of Blackwood Manor, her footsteps echoing against the polished marble floors. The air grew cooler as she delved further into the heart of the estate, the shadows closing in around her like grasping fingers. Suddenly, a faint cry for help echoed through the darkness, sending a shiver down Sara's spine. She quickened her pace, her heart pounding in her chest as she followed the sound down a narrow passageway. But as she turned a corner, Sara's breath caught in her throat. She had taken a wrong turn, and now she found herself in a forgotten wing of the manor, where cobwebs hung like veils and the air was thick with dust. In the dim light, Sara spotted a door nestled in a shadowy alcove. It was old and weathered, with a rusty lock keeping its secrets locked away. With a trembling hand, Sara reached for the lock, her fingers closing around the cold metal. With a sharp blow from an old copper pot she found nearby, Sara shattered the lock and swung the door open, revealing a room cloaked in darkness. Inside, a haunting portrait hung on the wall, its eyes seeming to follow Sara's every move. The figure depicted was that of an old woman, her features twisted into a grotesque mask of despair. As Sara approached the painting, a sense of dread washed over her. She reached out to touch it, her fingertips grazing the cold surface, but before she could make contact, a chorus of anguished moans filled the air. Startled, Sara recoiled, her heart racing as she stumbled backwards into the corridor. But her retreat was cut short as a towering figure materialized before her, its form wreathed in shadow. It was a malevolent spirit, its eyes burning with malice as it advanced towards Sara with outstretched hands. With a cry of fear, Sara turned and fled, her footsteps echoing off the walls as she ran for her life. But the corridors seemed to shift and twist around her, leading her deeper into the heart of the manor. And with each passing moment, the sense of dread grew stronger, threatening to consume her whole. Finally, Sara found herself in a storage room, its shelves lined with forgotten treasures and dust-covered relics. But there was no time to explore, for before her stood another apparition, its spectral form flickering in the dim light. With nowhere left to run, Sara braced herself for the worst, her heart pounding in her chest as the ghostly figure advanced towards her. But just as it reached out to grab her, Sara lashed out with a nearby object, striking the spirit and causing it to dissipate into thin air. Breathless and shaken, Sara sank to the floor, her hands trembling as she tried to make sense of what had just transpired. But amidst the chaos and confusion, one thing became clear: she was not alone in Blackwood Manor, and whatever lurked within its walls was not to be trifled with. With a newfound resolve, Sara rose to her feet, determined to confront the darkness head-on. For she knew that only by facing her fears could she hope to uncover the truth behind the mysteries of Blackwood Manor and break free from its sinister grasp.